Welcome to The Object of the Game. I'm Maureen Kyle with Coach Chuck Kyle. And today, I'm so excited about our guest because I've got to see this relationship over the years. Dad, later we're going to have Ted Ginn, but talk to me about not even just that relationship, but I think a lot of people think once you hit that field, there's a rivalry, and I think people would be surprised to know how many friendships you've started with other coaches and how close you guys are.
Right. I think I don't care what level you're at, whether it's the pro level, college level, high school level, whatever. There's a coaching camaraderie that is rock solid.
Yeah.
I mean, here and there you'll have maybe somebody kind of, he's out of control. What's he doing? And everybody just sees it. But really, 99%, it's camaraderie. It's competition that makes you better. I mean, you're not a good coach unless some team is taking you to the limit. I mean, that's how you get better. I mean, losing a game, you learn a lot. You go, hey, we did not handle this, what they were doing. Now I got to find an answer for that somewhere. And so anyway, and there's always coaches' clinics and so on. And if you go to those, you see a lot of coaches sitting together and diagramming things and talking about things. So sharing ideas is very open.
Yeah.
Because, come on, if that person's your opponent, you exchange films. There's not a major secret on anything.
Yeah.
So you kind of have some fun doing that. This time of year, there's a ton of coaches' clinics all over. They'll all be getting together and sharing stories and having a good time. So that's a fun friendship. It really is.
Yeah. And with Ted, who we'll talk to coming up, and he's going to go into a lot more about his community, but you guys have different... Your kids come from different communities. Right. That's no secret. When you look at, the kids who had played for Ignatius versus the kids who play for Glenville. You would think that you and Ted might be a little bit more opposite, but you really have a lot of the same philosophies.
Yes, very much so. I just, when it comes down to it, kids are kids, all right? I don't care what part of the city they come from. When you get out to the practice field, everybody puts the uniform on, and there's success, and there's daily failure, and you got to handle it. The challenges and how the coach handles it. If you get after a kid one day, you mentally you got to go, hey, I got to talk to that kid tomorrow and find something positive that the kid did, so I can build him back up, and that's what you get. Ted is amazing at that because, he's going to have to go after a guy, but that kid will come back the next day and it's like he's talking to his dad, right? That's what he's done over the years, and that's what coaching really is about.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about what coaching really is about because, and we'll bring this up, but sports has changed so much. And coaches who are coming up, they're looking to see, how do I have an impact on these kids? If you can just what do you think before we go to break, if somebody's out there coaching, no matter at what level, maybe they're hopping into their kids' sports, or maybe, the high school that they're closest to is looking for somebody to help coach, what would be that piece of advice that you think that they would need to know?
Well, first of all, try as a coach, be yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't try to be something else. Be yourself. Because kids can sense that right away if you're phony. Mm-hmm. Just if you're a guy that has a sense of humor, use your sense of humor. Mm-hmm. You can coach with a sense of humor. If you're kind of this stoic approach, that's the way he is. Yep. That's the way this coach is, and kids respect that. But because they know you're being true to them and so on like that. That's the first thing that has to happen. And again, for a coach, you feel the responsibility of researching your sport. That's a responsibility that you give them the best possible techniques, plays, whatever it is. And that's why coaches starve for that, for getting that. They're always looking to get that little, whatever it is, alignment change, different play. and you why? Because you owe it to the kids. You owe them to give them the best chance.
And we talk about how it's a service. You guys are in service leadership.
Right.
And so we're going to go into that with Ted Ginn in just a little bit. I mean, he's a character. He's so much fun to talk to.
He's always been. You finish a conversation with him, you're always walking away with a smile on your face and laughing it up. Always.
Yeah, he's a riot. So when we come back, we are going to be talking with Ted Ginn of Glenville High School, Ginn Academy. He's had such an impact on kids, and these two are just fun to watch. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to the object of the game. This is going to be a fun one. I've got two peas in a pod here today, but to really focus on the true meaning of sports, what we should be emphasizing with our own kids, and how the game of football and even just amateur sports has changed. Dad, do you want to introduce your friend here?
Most assuredly. Oh, boy. We go back a long way, Ted.
Yeah.
My goodness. Ted Ginn. Come on. Everybody in Cleveland knows about Ted Ginn. They always talk about kind of these two guys here, that we were young, crazy guys just coming up and spending a heck of a lot of time with teenage guys, getting them, whatever, football, track.
Absolutely.
Football and track. I don't think a lot of people realize that, too, that you guys, as you said, Dad, spend 2 seasons together all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I always kid my wife, and your wife, too. I've said to her,
Absolutely.
I'd see more of him than I'd see my wife.
Yeah.
Because we football season, boom, boom,
Yeah.
you always bumping into, we play, and then, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, whatever. A month goes by after football season, and you're starting to train. There's some indoor meets.
That's right.
Ohio doesn't necessarily have the perfect weather, but we have indoor meets. And so, hey, Ted, hi, Jack, and we'd start all over again, So we go back months and months every year doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Is it 30? I was going to ask, do you guys remember when you first met, like a first season, or do you remember like getting to know each other?
I can't remember one specific event,
Yes. But I can remember when you first became when did you first become
head coach in 1983. Yeah.
Yeah, so 97.
Okay.
Kind of when I first started, because I was patterning myself after Chuck.
Yeah.
Well, track. I guess that maybe.
I see how he run things over there, So probably about 97, probably a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, we could say 97. So
Yeah.
it's been close to 30 years.
But it just keeping kids involved. I think we'll get to talking about that.
Right.
During football season, I didn't worry that much about kids. I got them.
Yeah.
I got you. You're gonna go to class, come to practice, go home, eat, study, go to bed. I always worried afterwards. And then grades sometimes right between December and January. What happened? I don't know. Yeah, I know. You lost your routine.
That's right.
And so it was so nice to have a lot of those guys, okay, football. Track starting in about a month and a half. Come here.
Yeah.
Track is a different game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Separate the men from the boys.
Yeah. I always like football. I mean, it's every, 14 seconds. There's signaling in, changing the play, doing this, making an adjustment. With track, I always thought it was fun because practices were the key. Mm-hmm. And once you get to a track meet, coach, you're over there.
That's right.
You're on the other side of the fence.
Right.
Boys got to handle it.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a kind of a different type of coaching, but it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Track is different.
Yeah.
Different mindset.
Yeah.
You guys, it's funny because, I obviously growing up in the same household, like Glenville and Ignatius were rivals. You guys had a good little rivalry going on, especially at the height of those teams. But you guys became good friends. And I don't think a lot of people who might be watching or listening realize that you have this close friendship. Yeah. So how did that evolve? Because you could, you kind of assume it might go the other way where you guys are,
I don't know. That's a good question. I think when you say rivalry, I don't think it was like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You would think it's a battle of fighting a dislike. No, we had a rivalry, but it was. I always looked at Chuck like he was the godfather. You know?
Marlon Brando? I don't think so, but that's all right.
I'm trying to get in here with him because,
Yeah.
he's been doing this for a while. But it became a friendship. And after a while, that rivalry became something different. When you say, then we decided we don't want to play each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because nobody wins.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it was kind of
a little uncomfortable one way or the other, right?
So, if he win, then he's sad because I lost.
Yeah.
If I win, I'm sad because he lost.
Yeah.
And then we would turn around, and then, so I remember Chuck said we was in the middle of the field, might be during track season. Chuck said, well, you think we need to stop playing? You know what I'm saying? Maybe we get into the playoff, and that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't healthy for us as a friendship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how that came about. I guess just the games and the notoriety that was going on in the city. We became friends. We went into together as Hall of Fame.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So we did that together.
Yeah.
So it's been, I don't know. Our rivalry is a little different. It was more spiritual friendship.
Yeah. Like a respect.
Right.
Respect,
Yeah.
Coaching, come on the high school level, should be that. Honestly, there's a camaraderie. Yeah. Come on, we're getting kids together. We coach them up to really show the game the way it should be. Right? And I mentioned before, our games, it was just good.
I think we were
football.
showing
Yeah,
class.
it was.
People wanted to come see a good high school football.
Yeah.
There was no screwing around.
No.
There was no talk, none of that stuff, because he wouldn't allow it and I wouldn't allow it. It was, bam, I'm going to hit you. But I'm going to put my hand down, help you up, and let's go. Let's play. And then afterwards, it's like, hey, all right, man, good luck.
Yeah.
But it was, 48 minutes, knocking it around.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's a shame because isn't that how it should be?
Absolutely. I think we was teaching.
Yeah.
Mhm.
While we was coaching.
Yeah.
Right.
We was developing young men
Mm-hmm.
through the game of football.
That's what we want to talk about all the time at this show.
Yeah.
That's it, right.
But you both have this service leadership mentality. Is that something you guys discussed along the way? No, just kind of like you just found each other having the same philosophies?
I just think we show it how we carry ourselves. And, I don't have to say that. I can look at him and tell I see how he coach. I know how he carries himself. I know how his kids act. And it's all about education, really.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about raising young people.
We talked on this show before, but here's just another perfect example. This is a vocation for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is a vocation. The vocation is, here are these kids, and they're looking at this man who changes lives.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the game of football. Okay, it's a game. It's a game. Yes, but it at that moment in that kid's life, you know what? I'm not going to screw around because I want to play this week.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in that game. I don't want to cause trouble. And so I'm going to do. I'm going to be in school. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to. I got to keep my grades up. All those things, and that a kid learns by just that experience.
Yeah,
he does.
Teaching them.
Yeah,
saving their life. I can't really even miss a day.
yeah.
No, he can't.
No.
They'll lose hope.
Well, why is that? Explain, in case anybody's wondering why you can't miss a day.
Because they'll lose hope. They come to Ginn Academy, Glenville, and football and track and school. It's a table for them. And when I say it's a table, you was raised by a table.
Mm-hmm.
The table was your dad
Mm-hmm.
and your mom. It's not like that. The family tree is broken.
Yeah.
Nobody's sitting at the table with the children. So now we have to create the table. The table is Glenville football, Ginn Academy, Glenville track, and at the head of the table is me. I'm giving you direction like your parent gave you.
Mm.
It's not happening anymore.
What-
And we all are responsible for not having that. The world has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody got time to sit at the table.
one of the most memorable, I mentioned this earlier when we were just sitting around, one of the most memorable phone calls I ever had with him. And I don't know what for some reason we were talking. I don't know what it was about, to be honest, you know. And we got to talking about the kids, and he said this to me, and I'll remember this the rest of my life. He said, Chuck, for him, saying, it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I got to know where these kids are. That's what I do. That's what I have to do. I have to know where they are. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a vocation, okay?
Yeah.
But by doing that, there's some wonderful things that have happened for these kids.
Yeah.
Wonderful things. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to do that every week. So, I guess, Chuck, since you retired, this is what came to mind for me in the last year or so. It's all about managing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to manage all that stuff. You got to manage every child. You got to manage the community. You got to manage everything to play a game. And the first part of it, it's got to be a spiritual base. You got to have a spiritual base, and you got to be able to manage. And then you win a game.
Yeah.
Then you
Kids have to believe.
have to believe.
They can't in their life hear that age for them to sit there and go, is that all there is in life? Is that all this is? Is that and react that way? That's sad.
Yeah.
They've got to have something to go, hey, I've worked, this man is making me work really hard. Oh, man, he's making me work so hard. Yeah, he is. Guess what? You succeed. Maybe that makes an impression on you. Yes, it does. You know, his players will tell you. That makes an impression. And that's what you hope you do. You have their attention. You know, English teacher, right? You have Parent Teachers Day. I think I mentioned this once. Parent Teachers Day. How many parents come in and go, yeah, if my son cared much about English as he did for football, he'd get an A. I heard that a million times, right? You don't want to say, no, he wouldn't get an A.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's not going to get an A. But their point was made.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's that old school way. That's that old stuff. So I got something for that as well. A lot of times, Chuck, because you're the coach, they didn't see you as the English teacher.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You understand? They saw you as the coach. But it's just like in school, that old way a kid will do something in the classroom. And I have to deal with this too as well. And I have teachers come, well, I don't think he should play any football this weekend. I say, why? They'll write your referral, all that kind of stuff. I say, why? Well, he said damn in my class. He cursed in my class. I say, he did? Okay. I say, well, let me ask you. I say, you think he any different in the classroom than he is on the field?
Yeah.
Said, well, I said, well, let me tell you this. I said, I tell you what, I can't take away from what he's good at. You understand? I'll find some other way to deal with it. But when he says damn on the field, I don't come to you and tell you don't teach him English.
That's the way to think about it. Yeah.
Because you have to let them know it's all equal.
Oh,
All
interesting.
the same.
Yeah.
It's their responsibility everywhere.
Right.
The same respect, the same everything goes.
Right.
But I don't come to you and tell them, say, I don't want you to teach them English this week.
I want to talk more about, you mentioned like you do all of this to play a game, but it isn't. It's not just a game. You are teaching them a lot about life. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how Ted Ginn has created this community, the support system in his community where he grew up. And we're going to talk about what parents should be taking away from this conversation. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Object of the Game. We have Ted Ginn with us today from Ted Ginn Academy. Now, you guys were just talking about the community. And Ted, you grew up in Glenville. How was it different when you were growing up compared to how Glenville is now?
When I grew up, the community was different. And now the community is broken. So it's not the same. Your community we all try to, your community raised you. Your community was your mentor. Everybody in the community knew everybody. And you had a purpose and a reason to serve in your community. So that is broken. So it's no more community. A lot of people have moved out. It's dormant almost. And it kind of started when did they do the busing stuff?
Okay.
That was
70s,
late 70s,
later 70s, wasn't it?
Early 80s.
Yeah.
So it broke our community up.
Right. Yeah.
And we never regained it back.
Yeah. That was a strange time period.
Yeah.
And you'd see it. I mean, it affected the athletics
It
right away.
Yeah.
Because
up,
kids
so-
were here's their neighborhood, and their neighborhood would come to see them play.
That's right.
But the kid gets bused. He's playing for a team way over there,
That's right.
and the kids from there are playing over
Playing over
here.
here.
And so there were no crowds no crowds.
So
it was
and then
sad.
They stopped it. We never regained it.
Yeah.
And it's where it is now. A lot of people in the city is moving out.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So once again, you have to create something to build the community. So you got to get an academy.
That's right.
You understand?
And you get some. You come on. Let's be honest now. You win a few things, the community starts coming together a little bit.
When they see
And
success
there's
and momentum.
That's reality.
That's right.
I mean, the name Glenville. Hey, it won. It wins a state championship. And that brings community together.
Yeah.
You can get back together.
But you didn't, going back to, because you guys both kind of touched on that sports is different too. Community is different. When you were growing up in Glenville and you want to be within your community, was your goal have this successful football team and have all this glory that you have now, or what was your goal?
When I was growing up, first of all, you knew where you was going.
Yeah.
You was at Patrick Henry. You leaving Patrick Henry. You going to Glenville. You looking at where you was going. It was your responsibility. You made that.
Yeah, Cole, I'm going to throw a quick one in.
Yeah, go.
Okay, right here, huh? What position do you think he played for Glenville?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. 143-pound center.
Oh, my God.
And my wife, your mom,
Yeah.
my wife, you tell that story when, people, you'd say, well, I'm the linebacker center, and they'd laugh.
They'd laugh.
And you'd always go, well, the center. I get the party started.
Yeah.
My wife laughs at that
Yeah.
every time she ever thinks of it.
Yeah.
Party
And
starter.
he was the party starter.
Y'all don't want to play it. Ain't nothing go without me. I'm the center of it all.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but you were going back to high school. My wife would go, why didn't you bring that up?
Yeah.
She
They
laughs
laugh at me.
Yeah.
I was 143 pounds.
Oh, my
I had
gosh.
all these guys. Terry Jones. You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
Terry Jones?
Oh, yeah.
That was unheard of a kid out of the inner city going to Big Ten.
Yeah.
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 I was the center.
Oh, my gosh.
So he owed all that to me.
He does. He does.
He wouldn't have gotten
Yeah.
anything without
He
you.
wouldn't have got nowhere with that.
Right.
So he wasn't nothing
Yeah.
till he met me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I interrupted your story, but I had to get that one in.
Yeah.
That was too much.
But the difference, you said, I think you said, did I think I would be like
Yeah.
him? No, I was always intrigued with why. Why we have the talent, why we have all the players, but nobody comes to see us. You know what I'm saying? So I was always intrigued with that as a kid. So I studied the game. I studied education. I studied it all. And I stayed at Glenville. And I said that it's a lot of diamonds here, you know. And I saw it. but I studied. I watched other people, and I never imagined to be where I'm at, and I'm still don't feel them nowhere. I'm just doing what God tell me to do, you know. But it kind of exploded because I was doing the right things.
Yeah.
I was giving love, passion, and understanding. I was loving the kids. I had passion with it and getting a proper understanding that we didn't get when I came on.
Yeah.
You know, but it was too recreational and it was not life saving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
You know,
Sure.
You know,
So it seems like you hit this sweet spot of it's not just recreational, it's an education. And it is a way to support kids where they need it.
Right.
But then now, the way that you two both talk, I think a lot of people focus on the glory of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're seeing the end result. Kids who are playing, up and coming coaches see, and they say, "I want to be him. I want to be him." But are they looking at the right? Are they looking at the right tools? Is my whole point of bringing this up? Because like they want to be successful, but are what you're bringing up with love and understanding, are we missing that in today's society with youth sports?
Absolutely. Everybody's checking the box of how many wins they get.
Right.
Everybody wants to move to the big job.
Yeah.
You know, how many lives did you say?
Yeah,
That's the
Right.
key.
Yeah.
and that's the you know, when you say again, I'm bringing the vocation thing in. That the idea is there's these young men that somehow, you know, they have an interest in sports, football, whatever. And so here they come, and now they're with the coach for how many hours a day? And they're talking to the coach probably more than they talk to their parents, you know? And you make it so you show them the techniques and all that sort of stuff, and there's that point when the kid gets it, right? He starts getting the technique, and you could see it in that kid's eyes when he starts getting it. It's like, yes, all right, and you're the one sitting there helping him along with that. Now that's just come on, they're all not going to go to pro football, but what has that young person learned?
That's right.
You know, I can do this. I got to believe, and there's got to be people there to help you come along.
Yeah.
And that's the calling of this thing.
You know, you keep saying believe. You know, the year that we won the state title the first time.
Yep.
My quote. This is one of my quotes: "Believe first and learn later."
I like that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you don't believe, you can never achieve.
Right.
You know?
Well, history is filled with that.
Yeah, man.
History is filled with it. You know,
But
you got to
you
believe
know,
this is going to happen, and why even walk out there to do it? And
Yeah.
You know, me and Chuck was talking earlier, and every time I talk about this, when I see him, I say, "Man, you left me by myself." You know what I'm saying? You know, and then because I say that because I miss that because I not only miss it for me, I miss it for other children.
Yeah.
You know how many lives he have saved. So when you're in this business and you care is different than that's real coaching. And I know we sacrifice our lives, we sacrifice our marriage, we sacrifice our bodies, our health in doing this. But we know that it's what God wants us to do. You understand? It gets scary because let's think of the generation of kids that won't get a Chuck cow. That's scary. You understand?
Yeah.
Because I get scared sometimes when I look at the success of children. What if I wasn't there?
Yeah.
right.
What would have happened to that kid?
Yeah.
So it's generations of kids that is losing when the greatness leaves. I hate to put that on you.
You got me. See that?
You're right.
Every time for the last 2 years, I see him, Chuck,
Yeah.
you left me. You can't do that. I'm going, Dad, come on.
But I understand.
Yeah.
And we had a good conversation earlier.
Yeah.
Now you can take care of your health.
Right.
Yeah.
Spend more time with your wife.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Do things that
Yeah, he babysits sometimes too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
You
he's
know?
my go-to babysitter.
There it
So
is.
yeah, right.
He was talking about his grandson. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the time is there, and it's just, as a parent who now has kids in youth sports, I just hope that some of these coaches are thinking in that way, and that's the tricky part about today's society.
That's tough for you.
It is tough for me.
I'm just telling you.
Ted, you have no idea. Are you interested in coaching volleyball in any way?
I do know. You know what I'm saying? But that's scary.
Yeah.
So they can't trick you.
No.
You don't have the example.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So when you walk up to the coach and look here, that ain't how that goes.
Yeah.
Who are you? You know what I'm saying? But I have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You lived it.
Yeah.
And so in this game of sports, it's not the same.
Mm-mm. No.
It's really raising children.
Yeah.
I don't know what education is about. You can't really teach nobody anything.
Yeah.
You learn from what you've been exposed to.
If I may,
Yeah.
I taught English, and I've also always thought about it. Football coach, right? We end up solving problems in football. Mm-hmm. The other team's doing this, and how do we solve that, right? You end up solving. And I look back going, why didn't I become a math teacher? You spend your whole time solving problems. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking back, and I just wish somebody would have just said that to me about math.
Yeah.
Instead of just going, well, there's 20 problems tonight for homework, get them done. Right. And I'm going, I got to go to practice. I don't want to do this 20 problems. This is just something in my way that I have to do tonight, as opposed to, as long as I can count the money in my pocket, what else do I need math for? So I kind of go in that route. If somebody would just said, don't worry about the numbers. You're learning how to solve problems, I think I would have ended up a math teacher. I don't know, because we saw, you spend your whole day solving problems, right? You're in the office and there's somebody comes in and you got to do this. All right, tweet, whistle blows. I got to, here's this team we're playing. They're doing this. I got to, you learn how to do that, That's part of it.
The world is a problem.
Now,
Ted, the show only lasts so long. We can't go into that one, Ted.
You brought up a few minutes ago, like, as a parent, I could go to a coach and say, hey, no, I know how this is supposed to work. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to, both of you, to speak to the parents out there, too. Because having a dad who coached, I would never go to a coach and say, hey, I'm a parent. I'm letting the coaches coach. So we're going to talk about what you think parents need to do to approach youth sports in a healthy way. What you wish all these parents would realize. So we're going to talk about all of that when we come back. Welcome back to the Object of the Game. We are sitting here talking to Ted Ginn, and we were just talking about parenting in youth sports. Now, this is, gosh, I mean, we could take 2 hours to do this. But, I think you have talked about how you felt like you were a parent. You're parenting all these players that have gone through. I have had a lot of the St. Ignatius alumni come to me and say, I felt like your dad was my dad. You are a parental figure. Where do you draw that line? Talk to parents who are out there, like the actual parents, not the coaches, who have kids who are playing sports. Like, what do you wish that parents knew? And where do we draw those boundaries of letting the coaches coach? And where do the parents support at home?
Well, first of all, when I told you,
it
was the example. You had an example.
I had an example, yeah.
That's the person, not the coach like that. Mm-hmm. You want to look at the image of the person that's coaching your child. Mm-hmm. The parent has no right to say when his kid play or when they don't play. Mm-hmm. And today's time, we have a lot of parents that walks to talk to coaches about why my kid didn't play with it. They don't have the proper understanding of why your kid should play or not play. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's about being fair to other kids. Sometimes in my case, I have kids. I have 3 or 4 different kids in one position, and they all can play. So we got to share.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't need you to come and tell me anything, but you got to remember this now. I'm the parent
Mhm.
when he's on the field.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm
There
Yeah.
you
the
go.
parent.
That's
when
it.
he's at school.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm you. I don't tell you how to run your house.
Mhm.
You can't tell me how to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be true to the child. I believe, and you hear this thing about favoritism. It's favoritism
Mhm.
for everybody. Every kid get what he needs to be successful,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna give it to him. So it's favoritism for real. But they'll use that to say that you favoring this kid over this kid. No, everybody get what they need.
Mhm.
Right.
You understand? So parents need to understand, and it's kind of bad today because social media is in it. You got all these different analyzers. You got all these people telling you what your kid can be and what he can become, but they're not really analyzers from people that's in the business that knows it and have a different eye.
Mhm.
Your eye is not like mine. I know how to recruit. I know how to analyze a kid. I know what his expectations are. I know what his capabilities are.
Mhm.
Every parent don't have that, and some of the people that's telling the kids, then it makes it hard for us as a coach to coach them.
Mhm.
So as a parent, you love your child. Nobody loves him more than you but God.
Yeah.
You understand? But I can use my own kid. I never coached my kid.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
was never
That's true.
good enough.
Mm.
And he was a bum
Mm.
when we first started. I'm just
I
telling you.
got to see how he gets out of this one.
Yeah.
because
Right.
The kid went on to play how many years in the NFL?
NFL. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But listen, well, there you go. But this is somebody who had a kid who
Right.
went to the NFL.
Yeah.
Why don't you listen to Ted about how to raise that child?
Hey, it's bad. And then with the way things are going now with the NIL and
Oh,
the
yeah.
portal and
Yeah.
all this stuff,
We've had
nobody's dedicated. Nobody. See, we just obeyed.
Yeah.
When you think so, when we came up, the coach said this. That's what it is.
You did it.
Yeah.
You didn't question it.
We were just obedient.
Mm-hmm.
We losing the obedience of the game.
Yeah.
I wish parents, just listening to this, your kid comes up and says, "Mom, Dad, I want to try out for football." Okay. Okay, parents, take a moment and just write down some things. I think they should. Just write down, parent, what do you expect to get out of this experience?
Mhm.
What do you expect? He's going to go to Ohio State? Come on. I mean, really? What are your goals with this? That your kid has fun and enjoys working with other people. Is that a goal? That should be. Because that's going to stay with you the rest of your life. You are going to work with people the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And you better learn how to do that, right? That he's going to be doing something healthy, staying in good shape. Is that a goal, Mom and Dad? Okay. That's a check at the end of the year, hopefully. That he's learning how to work with adults and treat it properly and respectful. I mean, Mom and Dad, are you going to list that he gets a full scholarship to college? Is that what well, you can list that. Yeah, I mean, if that's your goal, then go ahead and list it.
Yeah.
But but make sure, if I'm sitting in front of parents right now, make sure you write down what do you hope to come from this experience, okay? Because it'll make the parents kind of think, my kid's working with other people, and you can see he's having fun with other people to come. Your teams get together years later, mine do too. They have a little get together. Within the first 5 minutes, they're like high school kids again, having a great time and laughing it up, because that camaraderie doesn't leave them, and just that experience of enjoying being with people, setting a goal, and realizing, hey, he got the party started.
Yeah.
Yeah, his quarterback went on to have a great career, but he got the party started. So yeah, he needed you.
That's right.
Right? That sort of learning. Parents, come on, that's priceless. That's priceless.
I was going to know in that field.
Yeah.
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 He wasn't going to go to Ohio
No,
State. I know.
143 pounds. No.
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 Going to work.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you guys talked about this because I know now that I'm in the youth sports realm with my own kids, what I see is not all parents. You just have you have some parents that are like they can list anything that you just listed. Like, oh yeah, I want my kid to learn teamwork and I want my kid to learn this and this and this. But really, they're like, well, I want my kid to be the best.
Well, don't lie
You
to
know, and
yourself.
that's
Mom and Dad, don't lie to yourself.
right. But that's what I'm seeing when I'm seeing what's happening in youth sports. And Ted, I'm talking about like 10 and 11-year-olds. And they're not going to be the best at age 10 and then the best again at age 15, 16, 17. I mean, those people just develop. Right.
10 years old, 11.
Right.
You get to 13 and 14, now you're in high school, and they making it a business.
Mm-hmm.
They making it a business.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Things are getting so bad. It's money, and we losing souls. And it's bad.
Yeah.
So we can't really raise the children like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much noise. We have to fight against the noise. You got this cell phone. Lord have mercy. Raise
with smartphones. Oh,
yeah.
that's been my whole
Mama,
focus.
It didn't say that. Let me Google it.
Yeah.
This is what they say.
Yeah.
It's tough. It
is tough.
It's tough and it's scary because we're in the business to save children. We're in the business to save their lives and give them direction in the world. And the world you got to fight against the world to be successful.
Yeah.
You got to bring your children. You young, and you're in the mean world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
They have to learn that you can't do it by yourself. You're not Superman. Sorry. There's no way you are. That's fiction. All right? You're going to need the guy to your left and the guy to your right. And
Yeah.
We got to
You need the
learn
community.
the community.
Like
and that's what you
you've been
talked about
talking
earlier.
Yeah.
The Glenville community.
Oh, yeah. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a football team that's hopefully pulling them together,
Absolutely.
And I know I'm putting responsibility, you feel that responsibility. I know that, but
we
it
need an
is.
example of hope
Yes.
for everybody around.
Right.
We trying to do something that's wasn't even thought of. People think it's impossible. But that's just the same thing when I talk about the spiritual part of it. God give us all a promise. You know what I'm saying? But then he'll make it difficult. And then he'll say, it look like it's impossible. And then all of a sudden he'll bring a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
But he do that to make it sure that it wasn't you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, okay, let's talk a little bit about that,
Should we take a break and
You
then
wanna
talk
take a
about it?
break?
Actually,
Oh,
let's
man,
take a
here
break
we
because I saw
go.
him.
We're going to talk to
See, I saw him gearing up. This is when he starts
man,
to
here we
like,
go.
when he leans in on the desk, that means we're going to gear up. All right, we're going to talk about how faith plays a role in all of this when we come back. Welcome back to The Object of the Game. We are sitting down with two very successful high school football coaches who helped run amazing programs here in the Cleveland area. Ted Ginn's been talking to us, and you guys were talking about how faith is really the basis of how you structured your program. And Ted, why don't you go into, I know I've heard my dad talk about this, but like talk to us about how you think that is where programs need to start.
Absolutely. When I became the head coach in 97, the first thing that I did, and I got two coaches that's been with me even prior to that, and that's Frank Streeter and Matt Chinchar. And I was introduced to Fellowship of Christian Athletes probably in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to go to Youngstown with Jim Tressel. I met all those guys. But I knew when I became the head coach, the first thing I was going to do was have a spiritual base. And that was Fellowship of Christian Athletes. That is the glue that hold it all together.
Mm-hmm.
You have to teach that you're not where you at because of you. It's a higher being where you can do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you you have to have that because they don't believe that things can happen because of him. They think it's them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not. You know, and once you get them to believe in the spiritual base, everything else come pretty easy.
Mm.
You know, but you're gonna keep slipping here and there. But that's the glue for me.
Yeah.
That started Glenville football for real.
Yeah.
I used to take the kids. You can imagine this in the city of Cleveland, and I would test them. Come to practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 in the morning. They had never heard nothing like this. When they get there, I might say, I just want to see if y'all go.
Oh, yeah.
Were they
But that's
mad?
a belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
belief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we started when the weather break, we would get on in the inner city down at Patrick Henry where we play at our football field. I get them there at 6 in the morning. I said, we're going to wake up the neighborhood. See if they come.
Yeah.
That's a belief.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then we might have Bible study. I can't say that in public school. What y'all gonna do? Put me in jail?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I know you don't supposed to say it, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
I do the time, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
See, my school had a saint in front of it, so I was
We got
okay.
Saint
I could do that.
Yeah. You're
Yeah. Wait a minute, you had legit to do that then.
Yeah, I'm good. You had Saint Nation.
Yeah, I was
and
good.
Saint Clair.
We went to mass before every game. From the first day I
That's right.
became head coach.
That's right.
And you know, some of
That's
those
how it started.
some of
Yeah.
those guys would sneak in, and Lord, if possibly we could win. You know,
Yeah.
you're supposed to say that. You know, what are you doing? You know, but
Yeah, so
That would be
Saints on St. Clair.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the kids were receptive to this.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
like they.
So you know, I never had a problem because the kids knew and the parents knew to be a part of this program. This is what you had to go through. You had to go through fellowship. You had to believe in something. Now you know you got different nationalities, people, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, but you praying to somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not forcing you,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but I'm just only thing you have to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can holler at who you want to holler at. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the way it was.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I started Glenville football.
Mm-hmm.
And all that is part of a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm doing now. You know, I do my own chapels. You know, Frank does them.
Right.
Ginn does them.
Yeah.
And then I have a chaplain that with me every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Incredible.
That's funny.
Yeah.
A-
Well,
a
let's just
chaplain in school.
in school. In
every
school
day.
every day. Yeah. Well, I grew up in
We can't
Catholic
say that,
school,
you
so
know, you know I do work for the
yeah.
CMSD. They gonna fire me.
No, they would never. They would never.
I don't think
No,
they're going to do
no.
I
that.
do the
No.
time.
I don't know if they're watching, so maybe. But I mean, you can't argue with the success. Then you can't.
Well, kids
So.
have to believe.
They have to
They have to. You can diagram all the plays we want. They all should go for a touchdown, right? I mean,
absolutely.
that chalkboard is amazing. How it ends up in the end zone every single play. I don't know why it doesn't, right? But the defensive guys are stopping it. But that's okay. It's this craziness that goes on. But they got to believe. They got to believe that okay, it's the fourth quarter and we're losing. What are you going to panic?
Mm-hmm.
Got to believe. You got to believe, you know,
Mhm.
and that somehow that has to enter their lives. You would
Mhm.
hope that enters their lives, and that's
it
all.
should.
What it like you just said. I don't care, you know, what faith they are, but they have faith in something. We're not just here to waste time, you know. And I always believe it. And I know he's going to go right like that, you know. I mean, the dear Lord gives these kids talent.
That's right.
And I think the best prayer you could give the God you believe in is take that talent
That's right.
and do the best you can with it. If you're able to do that and you're walking off the field, I think he's happy about what you just did.
Oh,
I
no
think
doubt.
that's a great prayer to him. And, hey, the ball's going to go crazy in that game, and God knows, we played enough games where the balls got crazy, you know that.
Hey, it's some spiritual things.
We prayed a little harder than,
I remember one thing, Chuck, I was watching the one, Chuck said, stay with your fundamentals. Whatever you do, just stay with your fundamentals.
Oh, yeah. Don't
Sometimes God come in and break them fundamentals.
That's right. All right. Not to go too biblical, but in all honesty, if you turn to someone, I don't know if people are going to get this, but if you said, peace be with you. Christ said that 4 times after he came back, after the crucifixion. But that's when he says, peace be with you. Notice what he's really saying, all right? He's really saying, yeah, there's trouble. There's going to be challenges. Peace be with you. Have faith. What he just went through, right? He's just saying, peace be with you. You got to learn that before I go, all right? Good thing he didn't say rest in peace.
Yeah.
Everybody be going, what?
Yeah.
It's a big difference between those two phrases,
Yeah.
right? But peace be with you. Hey, you're down the 4th quarter by 2 touchdowns. Peace be with you. As we go.
But then again, so you guys had talked about how your teams both played very respectfully, and yes, there were tackles, but then there was a hand there to help pick the other one up. And is that when kids have that type of faith, there's the humility.
Absolutely.
And so does that lead into sportsmanship?
It leads to sportsmanship, but it also leads them into how they're gonna be as a man.
Mhm.
Yes.
And how they're gonna carry themselves in the world.
Right.
It's a game, but it's not a game.
Right.
You're teaching life skills.
Right.
And how you need to carry yourself.
What was important anytime we played, I think it was very important for those young men to see us come over and go like this
Yeah.
and hug each
And
other.
hug each
That was nonverbal, but an important lesson. Because they're sitting there, we just battled it out with these guys, but look, this is the way it should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Chuck, we can get into some things here. But the last 2 years, I've ran into a team that's the worst team I ever seen in football.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know it, Sandusky Perkins.
I never played them.
The worst.
Wow.
They beat me in the state semis this year. Last year I beat them in the regional championship. And it was, the intimidation from the staff. I've never seen it in my life.
Mm.
And I called the superintendent. I called everybody. They made it seem like it was us. See, that's that myth that they do for inner city.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yeah, no.
I'm not calling nobody.
Mm.
If I see what I saw, that's the example of what they teaching their children.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, not good.
Mm.
This year, it all came out.
Mm.
We played them. They beat me, 11 to 13 or something like that. They won the game. The worst I've seen, Chuck. Guess what they did? I don't know if you know Bellevue coach.
I don't know.
We became friends.
Mm-hmm.
He let me use his facility before the game. The staff, the kids, the coaches drove past that man's house at night after the game and MF'd him.
Oh, jeez.
Put it on social media. That's what messes the game.
Yeah.
That's what messes the children up.
Mm.
Wow.
And I'm saying it, and I don't care who hears it,
Mm.
because that's a bad example in our field.
Mm.
We don't teach that.
Mm.
No.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We don't
Yeah.
teach that. They
That's-
said,
yeah.
that's more than a game to me. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's all about you. And that's the example you're going to be for children.
Mm.
No.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I don't care who it is.
And that's a great point. How you guys, just what you were saying, how you act is how kids are going to see adults act. So then when they're in their first job, or, they're in college or whatever, that's how they're, if they don't have a good example, then
Yeah.
That's right.
then
Yeah,
that could be how they interact
You setting them up for failure in life.
Yes.
because
Yeah.
They think that's the way
Right.
it's supposed to be.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, look, we've coached hundreds of games and all that sort of stuff, and you know, who are the adults out there? And I think we've had this one other time on the show, but
Mhm.
who are the adults? You know, the lights go on, and the lights are pointing out at the field at the players. We're over in kind of a shadowy area, to be honest. We're not on us. I mean, it's really kind of on them, and that's the way it should be. But who are the adults? Well, the officials are the adults. The coaches are the adults. Parents, you're the adults. Remember that, please. Okay? And here are the kids. And I don't care if they're 7 years old or 18 years old. They're still the kids.
Mhm.
And come on, you don't agree with the call? What can I say? Ted, I'll be honest with you. I can't ever remember an official if I don't agree with that call. I've never had one go, oh, you know, you're right, coach. I'll pick the flag up.
Yeah, that's right.
I never do that. You know, okay, what am I yelling for?
Yeah.
Right?
They're not going to go, oh, sorry, and go pick it up.
Yeah.
They're not.
You know, the only thing
No instant replay.
yeah, no way. High school. What is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, we don't have that.
You know, you know. I think the biggest thing I ever say is, "Well, I hope I see that on the film tomorrow morning." I don't
I
know.
understand you human.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, there you are. He's an administrator. You see that? Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know.
All right. Well, we're going to have much more. We have a quote and themes, and we have a lot to get to still. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We need a lot more time here with Ted Ginn to talk about all the things that we want to here on the object of the game. This section is where we call it the vocab lesson, basically. A vocab lesson, then we have a quote. But Dad, you gave Ted some words.
I sent him the themes.
Yeah.
That English teacher. We always have themes.
Yeah.
You know, we always do that, whatever. But I always thought
Now, you
those
gonna
themes.
send me to some English.
Well,
you know, I ran a machine.
well, that's okay. That's all right.
Hey, you want me to do some English?
Yeah. He gave you homework.
I didn't ask you to diagram any sentence here. I just, you know, pick out an idea from our list, and you, as you look at, you know, what you've done with what kids need to learn, what kind of rings your bell there that you go, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I think it's the service part.
Nice.
The service. I think that, you know, Jesus died and he left a gift in all of us, and that's service. And that's what I think that, you know, coaching football and learning from that is to be able to serve. You serve your fellow man,
Right.
serve your community, serve your city, and then never looking for anything in return.
Right.
Just service.
Hmm.
You know, so you know, and I believe in that.
Right.
I believe in that wholeheartedly. You know, my school is based on scholarship, leadership, and service being the most important.
Mhm.
So it's service.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
And you know, the other one would be wins and losses. You know, what do you learn from winning? You just win.
Mhm.
But the losing, you learn a lot.
Right.
You know, the best team don't never have to win.
Mhm.
I experienced that several times.
We all do.
But you take that same thing into the world, you're not going to win in the world all the time. You got to have the endurance to take the loss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You learn from that.
Yeah.
Then move ahead. You know,
I don't know if we understand winning if we don't have some losses.
losses. Yeah.
You lose. You become insensitive to
Yeah.
the winning.
Mhm.
And you know, in a religious moment here, you know, he puts us down on earth to win.
Oh yeah.
We're we're here to win, not to
Yeah,
lose.
that's the reason he left.
Well, I mean,
That's
we
the reason he gave up his son.
that's right.
For all the win.
We're here to win. We're here to have a great life.
That's right.
And when
That's right.
they call us up,
Yeah.
you win.
Yeah.
Come on in. You know,
Mhm.
That's right.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. You know.
But we have to appreciate, you know, you know, you get okay, you lose, you get all right, kids, yeah, you're gonna feel bad about it. Feel bad for about
Yeah.
I'll give you 24 hours,
Yeah.
yeah, but
But-
don't. That's it.
But you know,
Gotta line up
a
and
lot
let's
of
go.
times- a lot of times I have told children if I had a magical wand, I've lost games by 1 point. Should have won the game, should have won the state title. Even in school, you try to win every kid, but when I lose, I always take the blame. I always tell the kid if I had a magical wand, I would give you just that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna learn from it.
Right.
See, and this is another thing, Chuck, that I just told the kids even this year, and I don't know where it came from, but when you're thinking on a spiritual level, and this is just what it is. In the classroom, see, my intent is totally different, and I try to teach the kid my intent is to love you, care for you, and it's a spiritual thing.
Right.
Your intent should be the same. When you come here, it's a spiritual thing, and an intent for you to win, right? But if you don't have a spiritual base and your intent is different than mine, it's a dangerous business. It's a dangerous game for me if my intent is wrong dealing with the children. And I tell teachers this, and I tell principals this. If your heart is not, and your intent is not that, you need to get, because these are God's children. He will get you for that. It's a judgment day for that. Because in this business, the tests come before the lesson. When you go to the classroom, the lesson come before the test.
Right.
They teach you the lesson first, and then you try to pass the test. You know what I'm saying? But in the spiritual game, the test come before the lesson.
That's interesting. I like putting it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Um,
Quite a bit.
some of your friends who have joined us too here brought up a good point when we were taking a commercial break about the mental health, and you guys kind of talked about this with the spirituality. But how is it that you see taking care of kids' mental health as part of this too?
Well, it's funny you ask that. The mental health of our children has been here for years. When we talk about believing, having hope, the anxiety of all of that is a mental health challenge.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't address it. But you, myself, created a entity to really do that.
Right. Right.
That's what you're doing.
Right.
You're really taking care of the mental health of the child.
Yeah.
Right.
Making them believe, giving them a spiritual base. You understand all that stuff.
Yeah.
People don't look at it like that.
Right.
But really, that's what you're saving their lives. When we
Yes,
talk
we
about
are.
saving their life, you're saving their mental
Right.
because they'll give up
Yes.
just like this.
There is research.
Yeah.
Some show I'll gladly bring in. We'll do something like research that kids that are involved in sports, less suicide, less drug problem. Just go right down the line. There's less. Why? There's an influence. That friendship. You worry about the loner. I think the loner has the problem.
Yeah.
There's just he's isolated or she's isolated.
That's a
Yeah.
behavior.
There it is, where everybody has their down day. Just down. You're down. Well, how do you get out of that? There's people they're there that care.
Yeah.
That care.
Yeah.
The coach cares. My teammates care.
Yeah.
They're seeing I'm down.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's go.
But
Right,
you're
let's
doing
go.
that every day, Chuck.
Yep.
You understand? And it's not being recognized that way. The sport and the program that you have really is a mental health component.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's nothing else.
Right.
Because you're solving the problem of the outside world. When they come to you, they got all our children, no matter where you at, got a story.
Oh, sure they do. And the kid that isn't the starter.
No.
That's what? He's on a team.
Mm-hmm.
And the starter appreciates, hey, come on, man, you're my group, come on, man. That right there is so valuable with that kid. He's not the starter, Lord knows, but he's with these guys that really care about him.
Yeah.
That's what a team does, right? That's what you worry about the loner. I worry about a loner. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a quote every week.
That-
The English teacher.
No.
So, Ted, I know I've mentioned it before on this show, but when kids would get in trouble in his class, they'd have to write the quote 50 times.
Not type it, because they type
type
it
it.
once and push a button.
Yeah.
Caught on
No,
that.
so that
Right.
they'll remember the quote
And I know your handwriting, kid. Don't
for the
even try.
rest of their lives. So he pulls quotes from literature that teach life lessons or summarize, maybe what we've been talking about here. So you have a quote for Ted, right?
Yes. And I've been,
You've been
I've
doing
been
great.
doing Shakespeare,
Yeah,
okay?
you've been
Because
doing Shakespeare.
That's all right. All right, now this comes from the play Antony and Cleopatra. How about that? It's a considered a tragedy, and now a lot of people probably go, "Wait a minute, isn't that history? There was an Antony and a Cleopatra."
Yeah.
No, if you say Shakespeare's history, that's English history. That's all the kings, right? King Henry V and all that. So this ends up sadly a tragedy, but that's okay. But it is based on some people. But this is ready. Act 4, Scene 4. And I think this applies to our guest today, right? It says this: to business that we love, we rise betimes and go to it with delight.
Mhm.
He gets up every morning and he takes on hours and hours. He's an administrator. Administrators don't always have everything's nice. A lot of times it's mostly, what's the problem?
Yeah.
You want that job.
Yeah.
Great. You're going to hear a lot of problems,
Yeah.
Seldom leaves if somebody come in, hey, how wonderful today is. And then, then you got to throw that whistle on and you got to get out there.
Yeah.
You better love it. You better love it. And, we rise betime and go to it with delight. Because you want to get back to school and you want to get out there and practice and you want to go. And when you lose that, I don't know, time to retire maybe. No, you never lose that. I'll tell you that though.
Yeah.
You miss it, but it's okay. He's still going, man. He's going
I
to
know.
still go.
I
He's going
know.
to still let her rip.
Yeah.
But every time I see him, I'm always, you take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
Yeah, and
Man,
I-
yeah, you can't see behind the desk. You lost a
looks
little
good.
weight. You're looking good,
That's
man.
the first thing I said when I saw him.
You do.
You look good.
I
You feeling
still-
all right?
Ah,
Yeah?
I'm getting old.
We all are.
Yeah. I just tell people all the time, I'm not gonna rust out. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna give out. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and like I was telling you before, I understand my business. I understand it's a calling. I understand that God has shown me what I need to do. Even if I tried to get out, He won't let me. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. We'll just ask him to hold your hand while you're doing this, okay?
That's all Well, He will deliver you in things, but He also deliver you out. So
Mhm.
I know when it's time.
Okay. It's a deal.
Yeah.
We'll talk then.
Yeah. Well, Glenville, Cleveland is lucky to have you. You're doing great things for the community, and I'm so glad that you guys had the chance to come here and get together and chat.
We
It's always fun.
We gave her time to talk. I mean, we let her have her
I know.
time.
I thought I would just sit here and kind of watch you guys. I know I've seen you guys talk before.
But this is good for my health.
It is to be on here. I mean, you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah. Nah, see, I'm going to end up going to a track meet or something because I'm going to get this.
Yeah, with Chuck.
Yeah. I grew up with him watching game at the time it was VHS, track and football VHS tapes.
Yes.
I'm sure he misses it. You just sent him some of those.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those.
Yeah.
Now it's on Huddle and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff. You
yeah.
just sent it to him. He
Yeah.
probably misses
Making
it.
highlights like this with 2 VCRs.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
Cut them.
Yep. We have a lot of those. Well, Ted, thank you so much for being here.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you tell your wife I say hi.
Most certainly. And to you too. Please
Hey,
tell you.
yes, absolutely.
Meanwhile, I think they're getting together tonight.
Down. He said, okay, I know his wife is happy Chuck has retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Plenty
Thank you.
babysitting time. So yeah.
Babysitting time. Yep. Yep. All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
And thank you for watching The Object of the Game. For Chuck Kyle, I'm Maureen Kyle. If you liked this episode, there is so much more to watch. And if you haven't seen the other episodes, you can catch them on the Big Play Sports Networks. That's on all social media channels, on YouTube. And make sure you download the free Big Play app available on iOS and Roku. We'll see you back here next time.